The modern survival industry aggressively markets a specific insurance policy against a collapsed supply chain, the plastic vault of 10,000 heirloom seeds. The idea is that when grocery stores empty, you can simply open this vault, scatter seeds in your backyard, and feed your family 30 days later. Grabbing a backpack of seeds and retreating to unamended land post-collapse is not a food strategy. Without the existing infrastructure of a functioning farm, this approach leads to a rapid caloric bankruptcy. To actually feed a family when the grid fails, you have to look past the marketing and address the biology of the crops and the physics of manual labor. Post-collapse survival is governed by unyielding agricultural mathematics. If you haven't calculated the exact caloric return of your land before day zero, you are essentially planning to starve. Step 1 is an audit of your seed supply. Most commercial vaults prioritize high-yield, low-calorie vegetables like tomatoes and cucumbers. For survival, these are secondary to dense carbohydrate staples, potatoes, corn, and wheat. Your planning begins with your basal metabolic rate. In a survival scenario involving heavy manual labor, an adult requires a baseline of 3,000 to 4,000 calories every single day just to maintain their body weight. To see the scale of the tomato trap, consider the math. A medium tomato provides roughly 22 calories. Meeting a 3,000 calorie daily requirement would require eating 136 tomatoes every 24 hours. Even with the right crops, you face the starvation gap. This is the fixed biological timeline plants require to reach maturity, a window that does not shorten just because your pantry is empty. Fast-growing greens take a month, but life-sustaining staples like corn require 140 days before harvest. Because you cannot eat sprouts, you must stockpile dry dids like rice and beans to cover that entire 140-day growth window. If you wait for grocery store shelves to empty before breaking ground, the math is simple. You will run out of stored food months before your first crop is edible. Successfully reaching that harvest depends on the medium you're planting in. There is a sharp distinction between dead dirt and biologically active soil. Unamended backyard dirt lacks the nutrient density required for survival-level yields. Without synthetic petroleum-based fertilizers, first-year crops in untreated dirt have a high failure rate because the biological network of fungi and bacteria hasn't been established. To fix this, you must begin double-digging, composting, and amending your soil today. Building active soil is a multi-year process that cannot be rushed during a crisis. Even perfect soil fails without water. If the municipal supply is cut, you are forced to manage the massive hydration requirements of a staple crop plot by hand. To sustain a garden large enough to feed a family, you need roughly 5,000 pounds of water every week. Unless you have established a passive water catchment system, the energy required to haul that much weight by hand will consume more calories than the resulting harvest provides. Without pre-amended soil and an automated water source, the sheer physical effort of gardening becomes a net loss for your survival. This leads to the most important metric in survival farming, the manual labor caloric burn rate. Manual farming is brutal. Double digging soil, pulling weeds, and defending a plot without machinery forces the body into a state of constant high-intensity exertion. This labor pushes your daily caloric need far beyond 4,000 calories. You are expending energy at a rate that standard survival rations aren't designed to replace. Trap. If you burn 120,000 calories over a month of labor, but your soil only produces 40,000 calories, you've farmed yourself into a fatal energy hole. Your harvest must definitively exceed your labor cost. A survival garden must be optimized, kept small enough for one person to manage, but amended enough to ensure the calories coming out are significantly higher than the effort going in. By applying these metabolic and agricultural calculations, the fantasy of the emergency seed pack is replaced by a realistic framework for production. Long-term resilience isn't about hoarding packets in a closet, it is about mastering the balance between your body's energy needs and the soil's yield capacity. This level of preparation turns a backyard into a functioning caloric resource, ensuring that when the grid fails, the math of your survival actually adds up. Audit your seeds today. Stop relying on plastic security blankets and turn your dirt into soil.